Welcome to the Bird's Eye View. I am Randy, the War Duck, and today we are going to talk about video games. We're going to talk about video games on kids' brains, and we're going to talk about $80 video games. So stay with us and let's get going here. So, like that you growing up, video games will rot your brain, blah blah blah, and limited time and do all that stuff and video games aren't good for anything. I remember all the parents, go outside and play. Don't play video games, they're bad for you. Well, guess what? That may not necessarily be the case. So let's get into this. Chances are your child plays video games, or they will someday, and like many parents, you might wonder if video games are bad for them. But truth is not as simple as good or bad. The real science behind how games affect the brain, and it's more nuanced than most headlines suggest. When kids play video games, their brains release dopamine and neurotransmitters associated with pleasures and reward. It's the same chemical we get when we eat ice cream, win a soccer game, and accomplish something exciting. It's also the same thing that you get on some drugs. So that's kind of the other caveat of that, right? So, some studies showed that dopamine levels rise when kids play video games, which creates a desire to keep playing to get that pleasurable hit. Sound familiar? Kind of like a drug? All right. But here's what's important to understand about the dopamine release in video games. It's actually similar to other enjoyable activities. It's nowhere near the level seen with drugs or addictive substances, but it is similar. That said, we don't let our kids eat unlimited ice cream and get all that dopamine because we know it's not good for them. But the same goes for video games, right? In a limited portion amount, they're good. But we just can't overindulge. Kids shouldn't be overindulging with anything, really. So the research suggests that dopamine pathways is reinforced too often. The receptors can become less sensitive, meaning kids may need more stimulation in the future to feel the same level of reward, and that's part of why video games can feel so addictive. So, back to moderation, right? Don't want to just let them have all that ice cream all the time or all that video games all the time, but in moderation, it's good for kids. So there are also psychological reasons why it's so enjoyable. Many games use classic reward system based on unpredictability. Players receive rewards like points and tokens, but they don't know exactly when those rewards are going to come. This concept is known from B.F. Skinner's behavior experiments. Shows the unpredictable rewards are far more compelling than predictable ones. It creates a loop of anticipation that keeps players hooked. Does this sound familiar? I think there was some lawsuits, for Fortnite and TikTok and other things like that. It's that I need to get their loop. And I mean, I've even experienced this, and I was like, man, I hate this game. Why am I still playing this game? And then I'm still playing this game, right? It's that progression that everybody has their own reasons they like video games, and they need that to get there, and it just makes them want to keep playing. Some people are complete completionists, so they play hours and hours and hours to get every single thing that they can get in the game, whether it's achievements or whatever. But these are all part of that addiction and that dopamine rush and that need, right? So, all right, we'll get that out of the way. So, but it's not all concerned. There are a growing body of research showing the benefits of gaming. In a 2022 study, researchers followed nearly 10,000 U.S. children aged 9 to 10. 2 years later, the kids who played more video games than average showed an increase of 2.5 IQ points compared to their peers. These gains showed up in areas like memory, flexible thinking, and self control. That suggests video games may actually help boost cognitive skills and not harm them. See, again, video games aren't all bad. You just got to do it in moderation, right? So I think it's interesting how gaming has become so mainstream. People are actually doing it for jobs and stuff now that there's actually enough research to monitor the kids and to see what their gains were. For me, you know, I had the Atari in what, like 1986 or something like that. And I'm aging myself, but you know, like 1986, the Atari was out, and I played video games with my brothers, and my parents were always telling me to go outside and do something else and get off that thing, you know, and it's not good for you. Well, there you go, mom and dad. Guess what? It probably increased my IQ a little bit, and I probably needed it. All right, so, all right, experts like Dr. Shuma Beguile Johnson, a child psychiatrist at Akron Children's, agree. She explains that certain games like Minecraft encourage problem solving, creativity, and social cooperation. Other games promote hand eye coordination, physical movement, and even reduce stress. If the game's content is pro social, meaning it rewards helpful or kind behavior, it can even have a positive effect on brain development. So there you go. If you're a parent and you don't mind your kids playing video games, it is definitely important to narrow the game that you want them to play. Make sure it's within a scope that they should be playing. Probably not something like Dead by Daylight where you're murdering people and things like that. Maybe geared more toward, you know, problem solving, like they used Minecraft, which is a game I've actually never played. So I don't really know much about it, but, you know, games like that. All right, so she goes on to say excessive gaming can interfere with sleep, affect attention span, hurt academic performance, and even impact mental health. Violent games can increase aggression in some children, and too much solo screen time can stunt social development. So, see, there you go. Put boundaries on your kids. Let them play games a little bit, and may make them smarter. So that's why setting boundaries matters. If you notice your child's gaming habits affecting their mood, schoolwork, and relationships, then it's time to make some changes. Experts generally recommend limiting games to 1 hour per weekday and up to 2 hours per weekend. Man, that's like 9 hours a week playing games. That's pretty good. That's way more than my parents would have agreed that was good for me. I tell you, they were not having 9 hours of me playing video games. Right. Video games are like a powerful tool. They can be beneficial or harmful depending on how they're used. With the right limits and the right content and healthy balance of offline activities, video games can absolutely be a positive part of your child's development. So next time you see your kid with a controller in hand, remember, it's not about banning games. It's about balance and helping them build healthy relationships with technology. So that's a conglomeration of a few different articles that I was looking at today, and I think, you know, I think everything in moderation, right? Give your kids some computer time so they're learning the technology. Give your kids a little bit of phone time so they're learning the technology. Make sure that what they're using on the phone or the computer or the game is, you know, within their age bracket and, you know, is promoting positive things, you know, like they said, teamwork, problem solving, those kind of things. Apparently, those boost your kids' IQ. So let's go, gamers. Let's make smart kids, right? Okay, so with that, what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the $80 video game, right? And so yeah, let's see here if we can get on that. All right, so what the hell is this annoying thing? All right, well, basically, this is Microsoft backs away from $80 games, drops the Outer Worlds price to $70. Why can't we see? There we go. All right, so this is one of those things where I absolutely think it's way out of bounds to charge $80 for a video game, and that's the base game. We're not talking deluxe versions or anything like that. This is $80 for The Outer Worlds 2. And the developer Obsidian was a little upset by this, and they came back when there was some backlash about the game being $80. They basically said that as the developer, it wasn't their decision. It was Microsoft's decision, and Microsoft wanted to charge $80. I guess the backlash must have been so big that they backed off that. When asked how it could justify an $80 price tag for an upcoming RPG, The Outer Worlds 2, developer Obsidian had a sympathetic response. Ask Microsoft. Ask we did, and that seems that Xbox Overlord eventually agreed that the public baffled, or at least didn't like the looks of The Outer Worlds 2 pre-orders numbers because Obsidian announced that the price will now be $70. And $70 is still a lot for a game, don't get me wrong. I mean, I see a lot of games that are $69.99. I don't buy those games. It's super rare. It'd have to be a game that I'd be like seriously looking forward to for a long time. Like, for example, Baldur's Gate 3 that everybody knew was going to be a success. I bought that. I think that game was probably, it was either 60 or 69. I'm pretty sure it was $60. I think it was $59.99, but that was still a lot, and it was still a full price game, which I don't normally do. And then I think what was it, Avowed or something like that? They tried $80 for their video game, and that didn't work out, right? Because or was it 70? Okay, so it says the price has been updated to Outer Worlds 2 on the Steam page. It wasn't all that long ago. Big games jumped from 60 to 7. That was when Nintendo got the ball rolling on $80 standard with Mario Kart World. It looked like Microsoft was eager to follow suit, and the company told Windows Central that it'll keep full price holiday release at 70, which it says in line with current market conditions. But that's still a little high for $70. This year's other Obsidian RPG, Avowed, released at $70. And how'd that turn out? Well, it's been, less than 6 months, and it's down to $46. And it's still there. And if we look even further into that, right, let's look at the top 50 games. And you know what's not in there? Any $70 games. There's no $70 games in there. Not even in the top 100. I think the most expensive game that I saw in here was probably Red Dead Redemption 2 when it came out. And yeah, so it didn't turn out well. And if you look, like, where are we at? I just saw it on here. Come on, where are you at? All of a sudden, I just can't see it. Yeah, I must have missed it. We'll do it this way. Okay. Grounded 2 literally just released, last weekend, I think, at $30. And it's number 35 on the Steam chart. Number 35. Avowed has been out for 6 months at $70, and it is nowhere to be seen on any of the charts. So you tell me, is a $60, $70, $80 game worth it? Because I don't think anybody's buying them, and that's why Avowed is already on sale at $50 or $45 or whatever it is, right? I mean, and that's I guess that's kind of the thing is if all these other games are $50 or less, and a new game comes out at $60, $70, or $80, is it even worth buying it when in a few months' time it's going to be half price or close to half price or 40% off? I mean, only those people that are rich or have all that money are the ones that are going to be like, oh, I got to buy this game at $70, $80. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's never going to be me. I don't ever buy. I won't say ever, but I rarely ever buy a brand new game at full price. And the reason being is because I don't often buy later the DLCs. So a lot of times for me, what I do is I wait for a year or so because God knows that I have, like 200 and some games on my Steam stuff, and probably half of them I've never even played, and probably 80% of those I've never ever finished. So it's not like I don't have games just I could play and be brand new with, right? So for me, it's very rare that I'm ever going to buy a brand new game, especially when the prices start getting to 60, 70, $80. Because let's face it, whoever's buying these games, they probably make that in an hour, and I don't. So I won't be buying that game because that just means it's I have to work 2 hours to buy this video game brand new, or I could wait 6 months and work a half hour and then buy the game or whatever it is, right? And that's if you have an extremely good job. If you're a young person and your parents are buying these games, or you're in your 20s and you're buying these games, you probably don't make $50 to $70 like they're charging for about an hour. And that's just crazy. It's been a crazy increase recently. It's been over the last few years. When the pandemic happened and everybody's stuck at home, and gaming just went crazy. It just went crazy. But they were releasing games like Baldur's Gate 3 and stuff, right? These huge, massive games with hundreds of hours of playtime in it. And you come out with a brand new game like Avowed, and you're saying, hey, it's $70, or Outer Worlds 2 is $80, and nobody knows how long the game is, right? Do you have 200 or 300 hours of Outer Worlds 2 content to charge $80? Well, I guess enough people said no because they already dropped the price to 70. And I don't know, $70 is still a lot for a game. I'm sure, get the people that just loved Outer Worlds 1 that will buy Outer Worlds 2, but it's just crazy expensive. And so where are you? Where are you on it? Do you buy brand new games? Or do you more like me and wait until it goes on sale, or wait a year until it's the Game of the Year edition and it comes with all the DLCs? Because that's usually what I do. I get them way after the fact and get all the content with it. The other part of that too is they're not continually updating the game. So every time I get on and play, there's something new that's changed, or I got to redo the game or something like that. Because nowadays, you're charging $80 and your game's not even finished. You're going to charge $80 and then you're going to update the game over and over and over and over and over again. And that's just crazy. And on top of that, Steam, now they have the disclaimer that you're paying $80 just to rent the game. It's not even yours. You're not even buying the game. So you're paying $80 to rent the game as long as the developer says okay. But we've all seen, like, with the uproar on Save Games petition and all that other stuff, that if they decide to remove it or quit supporting the game, they just take it off. So if you paid $80 for that game and you thought you would have it forever, and all of a sudden now they just remove the game, there's nothing you can say about it because we don't own them. So why are we gonna pay $80 to rent a game? That's just crazy. I don't think we are. I don't think most of us are. Microsoft obviously saw that they weren't going to. I know that EA has backed off $80 games. I think the only one still doing it is probably Nintendo, but I don't know. For me, I don't know anybody that has a Nintendo or plays Nintendo, so there's that. But I mean, one of the best RPGs, Clair Obscura Expedition 33, that everybody's talking about, it launched at $50. Dune Awakening, $50, right? $50 is the price point that people are just willing to pay for games. Anything above that, it has to be people that are are stuck in those games, right? I played like you played Outer Worlds 1 and you love that game, and so you just have to have Outer Worlds 2. All right, anyway, let me know where you are with $80 games. Obviously, the people selling them know that we don't want them, but I want to hear what you got to say. What's your price point for games? For me, it's somewhere about $30 or less. I'll buy it brand new. If not, I'm going to wait because I can get it for $15 in about a year with all the content. So with that, I've rambled enough. So we're out of here. Remember, like, subscribe, let your kids play games. Just limit it to what they play and you'll raise their IQ. And just don't spend $80 on the game they're playing. All right, much love all. We're out.